It's time we have a mass exodus. Peace out to the public school system. What's up, everybody? I'm Quisha King. Welcome back to my channel. And I don't know if you saw, but I had a viral moment at the Pray Vote Stand Summit in Virginia over last week. And I made some comments about exiting the public school system. Take a look. I really think at this point, the only thing to do is have a mass exodus from the public school system. That's it. So I know this is a big call. I know this makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but I feel like it's something so needed and very timely. I first want to say thank you to every single person that has reached out to me. Thank you for your well wishes. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for standing with us, standing with me. Just thank you. Thank you for recognizing that it's time. And I know there are a lot of parents, just concerned citizens that have been saying this for some years, especially, me with having older children. We've been hearing this for quite some time. I know I have. And right now, I think with the FBI and everything that they're doing and with, this administration, it feels like there's nothing left to do. I know I certainly feel like that. And many other parents feel like that. This is not an easy lift. It's easier said than done. We can say it all day, and that's probably why we have seen a lot of people saying it, and we haven't really seen a consensus across the board. I mean, we have seen in a recent, since COVID, we've seen about a 3% uptick of homeschooling, which is great. That is fantastic. I think that is a wonderful thing to do. And so what we would like to do with this mass exodus movement is to increase that. We want to give children the education that they need to have them equipped when they go to the next level of their life. We have we've seen with Columbine and Parkland and the recent school shooting, we have the widespread adoption of critical race theory and all types of Marxist, socialist, communist ideologies that our kids are learning. Bad history, wrong history, inaccurate history. We have a problem. We've seen so much tragedy with our children. Columbine was over 20 years ago. And when you look at the faces of these murderers, they are children. I think we see it so often, we don't realize these are children. They are suffering. There is something that is not connecting. There is something that we have lost in society where children, kids, they have not even begun to deal with real struggle, real strife, real life issues. And we see this in classrooms. We see this on the block. We see this in the streets. Our society is crumbling. And our education system is a large fault of that. It's not everything, but it's certainly a large part of it. And I think it is timely for us to pay attention to the signs that are there. We talk about, when someone is in distress and they've been showing signs. Well, clearly there are signs in society that our children are stressed. They are not functioning well. We have the widespread critical race theory and all types of Marxist, socialist, communist ideologies that our kids are learning. Bad history, wrong history, inaccurate history. All the drugs that are going on in schools, all the hypersexualization, all the focus on exterior qualities. Oh, if you're black, you go over here. If you're white, you go over here. If you're Asian, you're over here. If you're, all of these boxes that we're putting these kids in, enough is enough. The signs are clear. Our children are suffering. And at this point, when the FBI, the United States government, has weaponized an agency to go after parents who are concerned about these children, and for them to say, we're not going to focus on the programs, we're not going to focus on maybe we're doing something wrong here, we're going to go after the parents. When our government has decided that our voices no longer need to be heard, we have no other options. We can either leave our children in these institutions to be psychologically abused, because that's what I see it as, and sometimes it's even physical abuse, or we can pull them out. We have written letters, we have written articles, we have protested, we have pleaded with school boards, we have written letters to school boards, we have organized, we have rallied, and they will not hear our plea. I really don't think that there is anything else left to do but to have a mass exodus. And I know when I say that, it sounds like, okay, yes, that's a good idea, but what does that really mean? What does that really look like? I am so glad you asked, because I think the ideas that we're coming up with are going to be quite different than what you are imagining. I am not talking about just you trying to homeschool your parent, because certainly I am not the best homeschooler. I'm not. I learned that through COVID. I'm not. But if we can equip parents with resources that will allow them to maintain their employment, and children get a fantastic education, I think you would like that. If we can have a system that is empowering our children to make them feel like they are more than just a number, that they are not prisoners sitting in these caved off, plexiglassed up cells with masked up, and they aren't free to think, to speak, to innovate, to create, to learn. I believe we can energize the next generations to actually care about learning, to have camaraderie with their neighbors and build communities again. Let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to what matters. We have been throwing money at this problem for decades. We have been throwing all these other programs for decades that have not produced the outcomes that we have wanted to see. I think it is time for us to try something different, especially when we can see our children suffering. Now is the time. Let me tell you a quick story. In Florida, not Duval County, but in Florida, there was a young girl. She was in 3rd grade, 8 years old, and she was being abused. The administration knew, the teachers knew, everyone knew but her parents. The only way that the parents knew, that they figured out something was happening, was she started to regress in her progress. She started wetting the bed. She started doing, she was regressing in her development. This is a true story. They went to the school to try to figure out, was something happening with their child? Come to find out, she was being sexually assaulted by another 3rd grader, and everyone knew and no one told the parents. Do you understand what is happening? No one told her parents that this baby was being abused. The abuser was not only abusing her, but he was abusing other children as well. Everyone knew but the parents. And that just goes to show you that child himself, something traumatic was happening. So he wasn't getting help. The children that he was abusing weren't getting help, and the parents had no clue. If this is not motivation for us to change what we are doing, when is it going to be motivation for us to do so? I know this is easier said than done. I am not naive to the fact that it's uncomfortable, it's unusual, it is something different for the time that we live in. But in this moment in time, if we are not going to stand up for our children and protect them from the atrocities that are in the world, that are coming at them left, right, and center, if we're not going to stand up right now, when are we going to do it? So I am calling upon you. I know you love your babies. I know I love mine. I know you love yours. And I know even those who do not have children, you want to see society progress into something that you can relate to. And so I pray that you stand with me, you support this movement, and I am very excited about it. The ideas that we're coming up with are phenomenal. They're phenomenal. I think you guys are really going to love them. It's not going to be your typical homeschooling environment because, I've never really been the type to do anything just quite that typical. So I think you will love the ideas and the plans that we have to come. So follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Certainly subscribe, like, share this video so you can stay updated on what we have to come. Thank you so much again for your support. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.